Hello, good afternoon, good morning, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you're celebrating or not celebrating, everyone. This is Suzanne Knaber-Nicole with 3 days delay of police science snippets for this week. The 24th was my Christmas, so I didn't get around to doing anything, I'm afraid. But hopefully you'll have managed to hold on by your last breath and enjoy your whatever festivities you're doing, and then wait for the snippets to come in a bit later. So I hope you had a wonderful time, and if you're still off work, enjoy that as well. If you are working, thank you, and hopefully you're safe and well. The first snippet for this week is about views on hotspots policing. This study examined patrol officers' perceptions of a newly implemented hotspots policing strategy. Findings revealed that direct observations of crime reduction positively impacted officer support for hotspots policing. Concerns about officer safety and workload had negative influence. Interestingly, higher perceptions of command involvement were also associated with decreased support, which suggested that there was potential resistance at implementation. So it comes from the top down. Officers are less likely to accept the new hotspots policing strategy. And as you know, hotspots is all about identifying where the most crime harm or the most crime count occurs and sending officers there for preventive, deterrent foot patrols, engaging with people, being very visible, being active at these hotspots. And if officers see themselves, they see the figures, they see the statistics, that things have calmed down in those hotspots, that's the best way for them to have a buy-in. And maybe if the idea seems to be more grassroots than coming down from the command level, they might also be more willing to do it. The second snippet for this week is about the domestic violence disclosure scheme. Now, this is something I'll have to explain. This is something we've had here in the UK for a few years. It's also called Clare's Law. Clare is a lady who was killed by her ex-partner. The police knew he had convictions for assaults and violence against women, but obviously they weren't allowed to tell Clare because of privacy issues. So a new law has been passed that if you are concerned about your partner and are wondering if maybe he or she may have previous convictions for domestic abuse, you can contact the police and ask them if that is the case. It can also be somebody on your behalf. It can be a concerned friend or family member making this inquiry on your behalf. The police can then check that person's criminal record, and if there is anything in regards to domestic violence, domestic abuse, only that, they are then able to disclose to the potential victim, to the current partner of that person. So if you're making the request on your friend's behalf, your friend will get that information. So in that way, you can check if a new partner you've got has any previous convictions for domestic abuse, domestic violence, and only those convictions will then be disclosed by the police to you. So this is called the Domestic Violence Disclosure Scheme, or Clare's Law. This study investigates the extent of prior domestic abuse victimization and the influence of disclosure decisions on subsequent reports. The findings reveal that 80% of applicants, so those who actually asked the police about that information, had prior victimization records already, and disclosures were made in 53% of the cases. So in 53% of the cases, the person asked about actually did have something that the police were able to disclose. The probability of subsequent abuse reports increased significantly for those with prior victimization when disclosures were made, highlighting the need for robust support mechanisms post-disclosure. So if you already had been victimized by a previous partner for violence, domestic abuse, you were more likely to be domestically abused again by this person you were asking about. So the police should maybe look at putting something in place, and not only, and I don't know if that is already taken the place or not, but obviously if something more needs to be done, that yes, actually, unfortunately, your partner has got this and this and this on their record, and then give that person support. If they decide to stay with that person, then okay, here's some support we can put in place. Here are some organizations you can contact. So again, I don't know what information comes with the disclosed records, but this study suggests that something more needs to be put in place. And the last and final snippet for this week is about parental empathy and psychopathy. This study found that after controlling for child sex, age, and concurrent callous unemotional traits, low effective empathy in parents towards their children predicted higher callous unemotional traits in the children later on, 1 year further. They exhibited reciprocal sympathetic activation, reflecting their enhanced sensitivity to their environment. No such effects were found for other psychopathic-like traits. So parents who don't show empathy towards their children are more likely to make those children callous unemotional, which is one of the traits identified in psychopathic individuals. So very, very cheery things to talk about here: domestic abuse, hotspots, policing, and psychopathy in the Christmas week. I've also been ill for a few days, which is very unlike me. So I didn't get around to doing this on Tuesday. Apologies, but I'm still Christmassy now before everything comes down soon. And I hope that you had a wonderful time with family and friends, whatever you're doing. If you're not doing anything, I hope that was wonderful as well. And I'll see you again next week, hopefully on time on Tuesday. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this content useful. You can get access to each episode's transcript with key learning points, timestamps, and references if you get yourself onto my mailing list. Just go to the main website on policesciencedoctor.com, and on the bottom of each page you will find a sign-up form for notifications of new content. Just enter your first name, your preferred email address, and the type of organization you work for. You will not get any spam. This is just for me to let you know about new content and for you to get access to all the transcripts.